Hi there, welcome to Crochet CJ episode number 63. My name's Carla, and if you're a new viewer, then welcome, and if you've been around, then welcome back. I am a mom and wife and a midwife, and I'm a born-again Christian, and I love people enough to tell them that. It's good to see you guys. I know I took another hiatus. I have no excuses. Yes, I've been busy. Yes, I've been crafting. Yes, I've been running around doing things that I need to get done, and I've been working. But I probably could have made time. My biggest problem with making time for a video is when I think about it and I have time, it's usually like in the morning before I've done my hair. And I don't think you guys need to see the bed hair. I could always put on a hat, I guess. Sometimes I think about that too. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Here I am again. It's good to see you guys. We'll start off with finished objects. You see this finished object behind me. This is a quilt that I made. This is like my favorite. This one and this one are my favorite fabrics in this quilt. This is a quilt that I made for a friend to give to a young girl for Christmas, and she asked me to make it, and I don't normally take commissions on quilts, but you know, when it's somebody that you love a lot, you do it anyway. The fabric was actually some that I purchased at the 2012 Quilt Expo in Kansas City, Missouri. It was a fat quarter pack, and I just fell in love with it. The colors were so pretty and so cool. And then I found a pattern in one of my quilt magazines, and we agreed that this fabric would work, and so I found a pattern and made it. So basically, you know, it's actually a pre-cut block and strip quilt pattern. I had this really cool quilt book that has patterns for pre-cut blocks and strips. You know, you can buy 5-inch or 10-inch block packs, or you can buy, you know, the 2.5-inch strips. And so basically what I did was I cut it into blocks and strips from the fat quarters. And I believe I had 10 different colors, 10 different designs. This was the best way I could think to showcase this, because I can't really stand up and hold it where you'd see the whole quilt anyway. I believe the quilt is 68 by 72 was the measurement I got when I measured it. I won't swear to that. I'll correct it if I'm wrong. And the original quilt pattern was for a lap quilt, but I wanted to make it a little bigger for her, and so I just made more blocks, you know. Go figure. You make more blocks. Because originally I think it had 9 of these block patterns in the center of the quilt, and then the border. And I did, I believe, 12. So this is, I just took all the fabrics and cut them into what I had left over, the 2.5-inch strips, and I cut them into I believe they're 8.5-inch length by 2.5-inch wide, and then you just sew them together to make your border. It called for another smaller border in between these. I didn't think it needed it because there's so much variety in the patterns that I wasn't worried about it. I quilted it on my quilting machine, which is awesome, and I did what I call my vine stitch, because basically you're just, you know, it's meandering, but you actually, I don't know if I can get you close enough to see that pattern in there, but you can cross over. Like meander quilting, you don't cross over. It looks more like a puzzle, right? Well, I call this my vine stitch because you cross over and make loops, and it looks like, to me, it looks like a grapevine. So there you go. Anyway, had fun doing that. I'm so happy I've gotten it finished, so it's good. It's good to go for Christmas. I'm excited about that. So as soon as I need to, I will get that in the mail to that young lady. And then my next finished object is, I had a friend kind of at the last minute from work. Her 2 little boys, one of them was going to be, well, I call them rodeo clowns. She called them a bullfighter, which I guess they are, because they're the ones that go out and distract the bull from the riders, right, when they get off the bull. And then her youngest was going to be a bull. So she asked me if I would crochet a bull hat for her little boy. And so I gave her a couple of options. This is the one we chose. Sorry, that's really going to blow out because that's white. But as you can see, it's just a cute little bull hat. I'm holding it kind of crooked. The nostrils really aren't that off size. But it had cute little ears and horns. And then I really liked the little tassels. I'm not really a tassel person in general, but I like this braided tassel. I think that's kind of cool. So anyway, so I made that for her, and I had to get it to her like as soon as I got it made because Halloween was like in just 3 or 4 days. I love when you get those tentative, I hate to ask you this because it's so last minute, but could you? And you know, I'm a sucker for a cute baby. I'll make whatever. She did pay me for the hat. I'm not saying she didn't do that. And she actually paid me a little bit more than I asked because she says I undercharge, which I do. I don't tend to charge enough for what I make, but it's because I don't want it to be a business, and I'm not good at charging for things, you know. I'm better at just making things, you know, just saying, well, why don't you pay for the yarn and I'll make it, you know. And even technically, I had all the yarn on hand because I have a pretty good stash of Red Heart and Super Saver and Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in different variety of colors because I make the dolls, and you know, I use that a lot for clothing and stuff. So I actually had all of the yarn on hand, didn't have to buy any, and it worked really well. The next finished object I have, so I showed you guys when I dyed yarn. This is the one I dyed for myself, and it was supposed to be self-striping because it's half purple, half blue. This is what it looks like caked up. It's what's left of my cake. It's kind of misshapen because, well, because I've used it. And then these are my vanilla socks that I know they look really stubby-toed, but they're not. They fit really good. I didn't put them on the sock blockers yet. I probably should have put them on the sock blockers to show them to you guys, but so, I mean, they did stripe. It wasn't quite the stripe I thought I would get. It's a really narrow stripe. I thought I would get more like the way the heel stripe, the way you do the heel. So it's striped a lot bigger. I really thought I would get more of that when I dyed this yarn. So I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get the wider stripe, but I really like this. I think it turned out really cute, and I think it's really pretty. And of course, the colors are great. And you know what? I am one of those crazy people who knits socks for themselves, and I totally enjoy it, and it's very therapeutic, and I'm going to keep making socks as long as I can. And I'm also going to really continue to enjoy making socks and wearing them. So I you know, that's just the thing. Anyway, I've got plenty left to actually make another pair of socks, so I will either make myself another pair, or I will make some for somebody and send them to them because I don't know, other people might like socks. It's superwash merino. I can't remember exactly the fiber content. I bet if I went back and looked at the one where I dyed yarn, I'd be able to find it. But anyway, there's that. So then those are my finished objects, my joys in progress. So I have a quilt that I've cut out, and the fabric is called Road to Oklahoma. It's it was designed for an Oklahoma shop hop, and it has buffalo and coyotes and deer and the state Oklahoma shape, and it just has all sorts of different things in it. And then some of the patterns have these really pretty, it's batik, so some of it has these really pretty flowers and stuff on it. Anyway, it's a quilt for my son and daughter-in-law for Christmas, and they know I'm making it, so it's not a surprise if they watch the video. You know, I'm not saying my kids watch my videos, okay? They get to see me in person, but I think they do. So anyway, you know, it's not a surprise, so they know it's coming. So I have it cut out. I just have to sit down and put it together. Again, I made the mistake of, so here's the thing. I think I've said this before. When you buy yarn to make a project, when you buy yarn, You can buy like a sweater's quantity of yarn and then go find a sweater pattern, and you're usually going to be fine. And you'll probably have some left over. Or you can buy some really pretty yarn that you just love, and then you can later find a pattern that will work for that amount or that weight of yarn. With quilts, it's not the same thing. I will buy fabric because I love it, just like I do yarn, and I try to buy enough that I can make a decent quilt. This one I had scraps left over, which isn't a bad thing. I'm going to make some scrappy bags for Christmas. And then, the Road to Oklahoma fabric, I have quite a bit left over, which is great because I really like the fabric, and because it's an Oklahoma thing, I will probably make myself a scrappy bag out of it, or possibly a lap quilt or something. I don't know, because I have quite a bit left over because I bought large quantities. But it's so much easier to find your pattern first and then go buy the quantities of fabric you need, because some patterns call for like an eighth of a yard of this and a quarter of a yard of this many patterns, and a half a yard of this many, or it calls for fat quarters, or it calls for blocks and strips. I know this quilt looks super wrinkled, but it's not. It does on video. It looks terribly wrinkled, but it's not. It's just because it's been quilted and it's got some texture to it. Okay, I'm obsessing over it. I'll move on. I also have a pair of candy cane socks. I think I showed you guys. Maybe not. Maybe I wasn't working on these last time. What did I put last time? What were my Joys and products? No, I did not. See, it's been that long. I don't write the dates on these. It's been that long since I made a video. Anyway, I'm doing vanilla socks, and I'm doing, it's out of this great candy cane fabric that my friend Mary sent me. And then it's going to have contrasting heels and toes. And so isn't that just striping up? See, that's kind of the stripe I was looking for, that wider stripe, but I'm sure you have to be really experienced to get that kind of stripe. But I do have the cuffs and leg and heel of both made, and I'm working on, I tend to do like a cuff of one, and then I start another one and do the cuff, and then I do the leg part, and then I do the heel, and then now I'm doing the instep or the foot part. On this one, I'll do that on this one, and then I'll switch to the green and do the toe decrease. So, and yeah, those are for me. I like candy canes. I like peppermint, and I like candy canes, and so I wanted to get those started and have them done before Christmas. I'm using this really cute little project bag. Wendy Jo Burnett made this. I don't know if you guys know Wendy Jo. Wendy Jo, I outed you with your whole name. She commented on it on Instagram or Facebook or something. She knows. Anyway, my friend Mary commissioned this for me, and it came with this adorable little project bag, and then it also has a little zippered like Notion bag that has a clear part on it too. And then it also came with, and this is great for me because I'm a seamstress, I sew. It came with this adorable little pin cushion, and I love it. It's got a little tape measure. Anyway, I'll tell you a funny story. My husband saw this in my bag, and he saw this side of it, and he saw this sitting on the arm of my chair, and he said, "Is that a donut in that bag?" I said, "No, it's a pin cushion." I wanted to say, "Are you hungry?" But it was just funny. I thought it was funny. So anyway, that's my second joy in progress. My third joy in progress. Okay, so in a little bit, I'm going to show you what I wore for Halloween. And the woman that made my costume, I think I told you I was having it made. I may not have. It's actually my daughter-in-law's mother who makes cosplay costumes, and she's super talented. Now, I can make a costume. I can sew. I don't like making clothing. I just don't. I don't like putting in zippers. I don't like doing buttonholes. I like to quilt. I like to take little pieces of fabric and sew them back together and quilt them, and okay. I have made clothing. I have made costumes. I've made many things like that for my kids when they were growing up, and it's great. It's just not something I really enjoy doing anymore. So I think it would take me a long time to do it because I don't enjoy doing it. So anyway, I asked her to do that for me, and she's super talented. She sent me a picture of what she wore for Halloween. Oh my goodness. She She's so talented. And anyway, so she, because we're family, and I think that's so sweet. I love family. Um, my kids are the same way with talents and stuff like that. I paid for the fabric and for the shipping, but she's like, your family, I'm not going to charge you for labor. I don't know if she'd want me to share that or not, because I don't want people begging her to do stuff. But I said, well, I knit and crochet, and she'd commented before that she'd like to learn some of those things too. And she commented on the fact that she would really like a Doctor Who 4 scarf. I said, well, you know what? I think I can do that. So I actually found a pattern that the BBC had written. The story behind this scarf is they took this producer or somebody went out and bought this yarn and took all these wool, they call it in the UK, not yarn, took all of these different colors of wool to this woman and said, make him a Doctor Who scarf. And she didn't really know exactly what they wanted, so she made the scarf and she used every bit of the wool, and it ended up being like 12 foot long. I don't know if this will be 12 foot or not, but I think it might end up being 12 foot, I think. Anyway, basically it's 60, you cast on 60, and then you just change colors as it tells you to change colors. And so I am about a third of the way through the scarf. That's probably not 4 feet, so maybe it's not going to end up being quite that big. I don't know. But it's just simple knit. The pattern literally says, in plain knitting, cast on 60. And then it just tells you, this many rows of purple, this many rows of camel, this many rows of, I think that's bronze. I didn't have any DK weight yarn that I could do. I thought I had some leftover DK from a blanket I had made, but apparently I have donated that on instead of keeping the half-used skeins, which sometimes I do. And then when I go look for it later, I'm like, oh, I gave that away. So I actually went to Hobby Lobby and got some of their Soft and Sleek Yarn Bee low pill. There's 232 yards in every skein. It's a DK. You use a 5mm US size 8 knitting needle, or if you're going to crochet with it, you use a 6mm J hook. And then it's 100% low pill acrylic. Like I said, there's 232 yards, 213 meters, 142 grams. The pattern literally called for 25 grams of, it said 25 grams, and then it would tell you how many balls you needed, because a lot of the UK yarns come in 25 gram balls. And so, like most of them, I needed 75 grams. I needed 3 25 gram balls. And so these are 142, so that wasn't a problem. The only one, this is the one I'm using for the camel color, and it's actually called clay, but it was the closest I could find to what I thought was camel. I had to get 2 of these, but the other ones I just had to get 1 of, and there are 7 colors. And then once you finish the scarf, it's a free pattern. I'm not telling any stories. Once you finish the scarf, you put 7 tassels on either end, and each tassel has one of each of the 7 colors. So, don't know if there's significance to that. Honest to goodness, I'm old enough that when in the 70s, when I was very young, I can remember watching Doctor Who on PBS, I guess, on, I want to say Saturday night. I don't know. It was on the weekend, I'm pretty sure, because we stayed up late to watch Doctor Who. I can remember watching Doctor Who back in the day. Never really got into it after that, and have not continued to watch it. I haven't seen an episode in 40 years or more. But I know it's a big, fan kind of thing, just like I am with Harry Potter and Star Wars, people are with Doctor Who. So, you know, I know it's a big thing too, and so I'm making her that. They go to Comic Cons and stuff and do cosplay and things like that. That's why I asked her to make this costume, because she's so very talented at it. Anyway, boy, I just rambled on about making that scarf, didn't I? It's a really simple pattern. It's like somebody typed it on a typewriter and then they've got it out there on the internet that you can find this pattern, and that's what I used. And I will post a link in the description. You guys know how I do it. I put my video up and let it upload because it takes so long, and then I usually go back and put things in the description box. I do have to work a lot after today, so it may be Monday before I get that description box filled in. Sorry about that. And then acquisitions. Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek. I just told you all about it. I got 7 different colors to make that scarf with. I was in Michael's. Don't ask me why. My husband needed to go buy something at tool store or something. And you know, he felt like, well, if he dragged me to the store to buy stuff he needed, he would take me somewhere he knew I liked to go. So he's like, well, you want to go to Tuesday morning? You want to go to Michael's? Tuesday morning, I used to get yarn and fabric there, but they're crafting stuff. I mean, they have paper crafting stuff, but they don't really have any of the fiber anymore. And so I just don't care about going there and looking around anymore. So at least the ones here don't. So we went to Michael's. And I wasn't looking for anything. I was looking at some stuff that I need for a Christmas project, but I wasn't looking to buy anything. But I saw this Heartland from Lion Brand, and this color is called Yosemite. I don't know if it's truly showing up the color it is. It's a really pretty, like, deep rusty orange. And anyway, it's 5 ounces or 142 grams. It has 251 yards or 230 meters. It's 100% acrylic, and it's a medium 4-weight, 5.5 millimeter size 9 US needles or a J 6 millimeter crochet hook. I thought this would make really pretty Ross hats. And actually, Ross has a new hat pattern out called Sedan, and it's one of the ones that where you knit like the big, I call it capsule. It looks like a pill capsule, and then you fold it inside of itself, so it's double knit. Is that what they call them? A double knit hat. Anyway, he just got that pattern out. I need to look at the quantity on it. If I have enough, I might make that hat out of this. But if not, it's going to be Ross hats, because I really like Ross hats, and they are so great, and I really like giving them to people. I went to the local quilt show in Claremore last Saturday. I should have brought the little flyer from it. It's the Rogers County Quilters Association, I believe, and they, you know, get together and quilt and meet and things like that. But they have a big quilt show, and it was $5 to get in. I thought, you know, that's pretty. You know, I'm not going to fuss about $5. That's easy. You know, and you go in and they have all these beautiful quilts, and you can vote on your favorite. I took lots of pictures of quilts, and they were just gorgeous to get ideas to make quilts. And then one of the little groups, I don't know if it was the Quilters Association or if it was another group, they were selling like raffle tickets on a quilt, which I probably wouldn't have even thought anything of, except that if you bought a $5 book of raffle tickets on this quilt, then you got to pick 2 craft items that they had made. Well, sign me up. So I bought 2 $5 books because I ended up getting 4 things. This is a tissue cover. Isn't that adorable? And so, yeah, so it's, you know, it's made like this. And it even came with a little packet of tissues in it, and I always have little tissues laying around everywhere, and so I thought that was super cute, and that fabric's really pretty. So I got that. And then I saw these and I thought they were super cute too. These are refrigerator magnets. And I got 2 of them. One of them's red, white, and blue, and I'm sending that to a friend. And then this one is the same fabric as that tissue cover. But the colors are just so pretty. And look, it's got a little ladybug on it, but you know, it's got a little magnet on the back, and they're refrigerator magnets. And I just thought, not only are these really cool, and I mean, you know, these items would sell for $5 or more at a craft fair. So I mean, for them to be, you know, all their ladies made these little notions to sell, and just super cute. And then they're giving them away like that, and I was just like, that's too cool. Now my favorite thing that I got, it's a little weighted pillow thing, and you set it like on the arm of your chair or your table, and then it has a little basket for your threads or your yarn ends. Think how handy that's going to be when I'm weaving in ends and got all those little pieces of yarn. I mean, and it's OU, which is my Boomer Sooner. That's my football team, my college football team that I like here in Oklahoma. I like OSU too. They had OSU ones too. But they had OU and OSU, and they had some in that pretty purple fabric. And I'm sure they had many other fabrics for it. But, you know, that's the items I picked. I probably would have gotten 4 of these and given them as gifts, except I thought that was a little greedy. So I picked some smaller items anyway. But yeah, that is just too cute. And like I said, I got 2 items for buying, you know. So for $10, I got those 4 things, which is a bargain. And they're very well made. Plus, isn't that a great idea to make for somebody? I know. Are you one of those people? I could make that myself. You see things at craft fairs, or you see things in, you know, for sale, or, you know, I could make that myself. You know, like, and do you ever? Well, sometimes yes, I do. Sometimes yes, I do. I like this t-shirt. It says, Llama give thanks. It's got a llama on it. I bought this probably 4 or 5 years ago, before I ever had a Cricut. But I probably would have looked at it and went, oh, I could make that. But I haven't. It's so nice and crisp and new, because I think I only wore it a couple of times before I put on a bunch of weight. And now I can wear it again. I lost weight. Bonus, I have a whole new wardrobe of things that actually the only thing I saved from when I was smaller before were t-shirts, though. I don't have a whole lot of. Anyway, gnome ornaments. I have a sweet friend who made these little. I've seen the pattern and the idea, I think, on Pinterest or something. But she said she made them, and so of course I had her make me an OU one. And it's a little pom pom, and then it has a little wooden nose, and then she took a little wood thing and put letters on it that say OU. And then I think this is like a cut off a toilet paper roll, and you just wrap. I didn't really look at the tutorial because I wasn't going to make them, you know, and then you just draw that up at the top, and then it's got a little wooden bead, you know, for your hanger. Anyway, I had her make that one. And then the first college I ever went to, I actually went there twice. I have an accounting degree from there, and I have my nursing degree from there. But it's Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College in Miami, Oklahoma, and NEO. And their colors are blue and gold. And so I had her make me an NEO one too. Aren't they cute? They're little gnome ornaments. Anyway, I thought those were adorable. And, you know, I'm one of those people, if I have if I know somebody or see a small business where they make things like that I just think are cute, I mean, I'm going to support their business. I don't have a problem with that. You know, I have no doubt that I have a lot of friends and I know I have a lot of friends that will do it, because when I was raising money for the church last year, when I was doing that fundraiser for church last year, I got lots of my friends ordered t-shirts and stuff from me to help me and to raise that money. And so that was really cool. And speaking of church and crafting, segue into that one. I was talking to some of the ladies from the in our women's group at church, and last Christmas, every Christmas we have like a brunch, and last year we had a brunch, and when you come to the brunch, you bring a wrapped item that they specify. They don't have you buy things or do well. You buy things. People buy things. I'm not saying that, but it's an inexpensive item for a gift exchange, right? So last year it was a kitchen dish towel. Bring a kitchen dish towel. So you know me. I not only brought the kitchen dish towel, I crocheted hangers for the kitchen dish towel. I know you guys have seen my hangers before. The ones I have made up right now are actually Halloween ones, and they're hanging on my stove right now. So, because I haven't taken them down because yesterday was Halloween. I guess I need to go take them down and put my fall ones up. But I make the ones, I can't remember the name of the pattern. If I can find it, I'll put it up there. But I make the ones that had the little loop and you put the towel in it, and that way you can take the towel out and wash it separately. And they're really cute. So I made some of those and put them on the top of those dish towels that I brought for my gift exchange. And some lady came by our table and said, "Oh, I just saw these are so cute and blah blah blah, and I wish I could do that kind of thing." And I said, "Oh well, yeah, I'm the one that made those." And she's like, "Oh, I'd love to learn how to crochet." And then somebody else like, "Oh, I'd like to learn how to quilt," or "Oh, I'd like to learn how to knit." And my thing is, as part of ministry, I think getting together and spending time crafting together, I think it's very soothing. I think it's fun. I think it can be productive. You can make things to give to people who are in need. We could throw them in Christmas baskets with food and stuff. You can put pot holders and things like that in there that you've made. I just think it's kind of fun. So I had talked to one of the ladies recently about it, and so we got together and we decided that we would meet. We're just going to kind of take the temperature of the ladies group and see what they think. So we're going to get together later this month and we're going to make Christmas deco mesh wreaths, because I've done that too. So we're going to get all the supplies together, and then everybody's going to come, and we're going to ask them to donate $10 to help with the cost of supplies. Now, I've purchased some of the supplies. I'm bringing all of my fancy Ryobi cordless glue gun, and I've got some extra ribbon and things like that I'm going to bring. And then one of the other ladies bought all the metal wreaths that we're going to use to make them with. So we're footing some of the bill, but we thought $10 would help go toward buying the deco mesh and the ornaments and things like that to make it, because you use the wire edge ribbon to make a big bow in it, things like that. So and then we thought we'd just all get together, and it was something we could make in an evening, in an hour and a half or so, and then that way everybody would have done something, and it's just a fun way to get together and sip on some tea and make some crafts, and then just kind of talk about what we want to do in the future. And then of course in December we'll have our women's brunch, and have a really nice meal and get together and visit and things like that. So that'll be good. And then hopefully we're thinking that this will start something like maybe once a month we can get together. And whether it be getting together to craft or getting together to go minister to someone in some way, we wanted to do that. And, obviously teaching people to knit and crochet and quilt is not my forte. If you need to know about prenatal care or women's health or how to take care of your baby or take care of yourself, as a woman, I'm all over that, because I've done that for almost 30 years, and that I can do easily, and I can do it well. Teaching someone else how to knit or crochet or quilt, I'm so self-taught that I just don't think that I can do justice, but I will give it every effort. I feel like I can probably find some videos for ladies to watch on YouTube. That's how I learned. The beautiful Melanie Ham, may she rest in peace. She was such a sweet, sweet woman, and so talented as a quilter and a crocheter. And I learned to crochet from her. I'd been quilting for decades. That wasn't an issue for me, but learning to crochet about 4 years ago was just this odd thing to do when you're in your 50s. Or maybe not. I don't know. There's probably people older than me that have learned to crochet. So, just being able to do that would be awesome. And so I'm excited about that. So we're going to get together later this month and do that. Last but not least, I will show you guys what I wore. So every year at work we have what's called a fall festival, and every department does a theme, and our department picked Hocus Pocus. So of course I opened my mouth and I said, I want to be Winifred. So my dear friend Michelle made me this costume, okay? And it is absolutely the bomb. And so I don't know how well you can see my washed out face and my makeup and that, but is that not the most beautiful costume? And I mean, look at those nails. My goodness. Oh, there, now you can see my washed out face. And just in case you really want a close-up view of that face, here we go. So Thursday night we did Fall Festival, and unfortunately only Mary, one of the other sisters, Sarah was nowhere to be found, so only Mary showed up. So Mary and I hung out and handed out candy to little kids and things like that and tried not to scare them. And then we had a really good time doing that. And then I was just like, that costume is so good, I don't want to just wear it one time. So yesterday I was like, I'd planned to do this. It wasn't a last minute thing. I was like, I am going to do full makeup and dress and hand out candy dressed like Winifred. And so I did that. I started getting ready about 3:30. It takes me about an hour because you do the makeup, and then you put the dress on, and then you do the wig, and then you do the nails. You have to make sure you've got your socks or hose or whatever. You have to make sure you got all that stuff on too. Before you do the nails, have to be the last thing for me anyway, because I'm not used to obviously long fingernails. And so I just had some little press-on ones I ordered off Amazon to do. And I did magnetic eyelashes. So funny. Because you put this eyeliner on and you let it dry, and then you just stick the eyelashes to your eye. Now you're supposed to cut the eyelashes to the length you want them. I just left them because it was a costume. I wasn't too worried about how perfect they were going to look. My goodness, those lashes stayed on without any problem. And in fact, so you saw the red lipstick, right? All over here and down here for that Winifred mouth. And I don't normally wear makeup, as you can tell. I gave it up years ago because when I go to work, and especially since we've been wearing masks, by the time I work a 16 or 24-hour shift, makeup's gone anyway. And so I just quit wearing it. And, it's just not my thing. Some people are really great at makeup and enjoy wearing it, and it's wonderful, but I just don't wear it anymore. But I keep a little bit around just in case I need to do something, and it came in handy for this. Plus, now I had to go buy the red lipstick and, of course, the eyelashes and some bright pink blush, because, man, that's hard to find for some odd reason. But, so I did all that, and when I went to take it off last night, I'd done all this the other night without the eyelashes, though, because the eyelashes I had bought for last week, I didn't realize didn't come with glue in the box. So I didn't wear them. So I had some fake eyelashes with no glue. Well, then I was on Amazon and I saw these magnetic ones, and I thought, that would be even better than glue, right? I don't want to put glue on my eyes, eyelashes, whatever. And so it worked really well. I don't know how it would work, all day long, or if you were out running around, but I mean, I was running around the house doing things and going outside and handing out candy and coming back in. And they stayed on really well. But when I went to take it off last night, it says, the directions say use makeup remover. Well, I don't wear makeup, so I don't have makeup remover. So I just washed with soap, okay? I still had black eyeliner. I still had a pretty pink mouth. I got a lot of the makeup off, but lipstick off. But I mean, I used like red lip liner to go around, and then I filled in with this dark red lipstick. And it doesn't, you want it to stay on your lips, but you don't want it to stay on your skin, which is where mine was mainly. So I didn't have any baby oil even, so I just went in the kitchen and got some olive oil. So I smelled like a tossed salad when I went to bed last night. But just a little tip, FYI, olive oil will take your makeup off. Just saying, okay? I'm sure that's a no-brainer and everybody knew that, and I figured it's not going to hurt my eyes or anything or my skin, so, it's a very natural product. You eat it. So anyway, that worked really well, and I was really happy with that. So I know, but it worked. I did buy the buck teeth, and I tried those, but I couldn't get them to stay in, and the stuff you used to put them in is a lot like, I guess, denture adhesive. I don't have dentures. So I guess it's a lot like that. And oh my goodness, even though it wouldn't hold those teeth in, it stuck to my teeth and the inside of my lip. I mean, I was like spitting that stuff out for hours. Because like Thursday before I went, I tried putting the teeth in to see so the teeth didn't work. The tights that I had bought were black and green striped, because she has black and green striped tights or hose or whatever in the movie. I bought them off Amazon. They said they were 3X, which I don't wear a 3X anymore, okay? But I got the 3X thinking at least they'll be plenty big. I mean, I got them all the way up my legs, but then I could not get them up around my waist because they were that short. So they must have been Chinese 3X and not US 3X, because they were not 3X. So my ingenuity, I cut the crotch and made them into stockings. And basically what I did was I took a pair of leggings and put over the stockings and pulled the leggings up to about my knees so that you could just see the stockings from my knees down. Because I tried just wearing them as stockings and they wouldn't stay up because they didn't have any elastic at the top, because they were meant to be tights or pantyhose. They weren't meant to be stockings. So anyway, there's my fun story of my costume failures and whatever. I actually considered making the video last night in costume, and then I just decided that that would be too silly. Although I was last night Zooming with my friend Sandra and my friend Mary. And so, even if I only had 10 trick-or-treaters, which is so sad, we only had 10 trick-or-treaters, even if that's all I had, it was so worth it just to know that Mary and Sandra, every time they looked up at the Zoom screen, they got a good laugh because I was hilarious. And I mean, like, their husbands are going, what's wrong with Carla? And Sandy actually had a trick-or-treater, a family member, show up with their little one trick-or-treating, and he was looking at me and he was going, why are you a witch? And his grandpa's like, well, she's a witch the same reason you're an astronaut for Halloween. She dressed up for Halloween. He said, you have 2 sisters. I said, you're right, Mary and Sarah. I don't know where they are. They just didn't show up. So I thought that was really cute. And one of my little trick-or-treaters, when she came to the door, she went, hocus pocus. So again, I mean, yes, and the trick-or-treat, I know most people don't dress up probably to hand out candy. I think it's super fun. I don't get to do it very often, and I'm, kind of like, I like the drama stuff, dressing up and things like that. I don't like drama in my life, but I like, acting drama, sorry. And as you can tell, I'm quite a ham. Anyway, okay, 43 minutes. That's the longest video I've made in forever. So hopefully you're still awake, and you haven't fallen asleep in your chair or something. You guys have a great week. I will see you soon. And yes, the last winner of my last yarn giveaway finally did email me, and I will be getting that in the mail as soon as I can. Kendall, sorry that I have not done that by now, but I did get your email and I will get that sent to you. And then I'll be back as soon as I can. You guys have a super wonderful week, and remember, Jesus loves you and so do I. Bye.